this stuff is, it's putting LeBron in a bad space. Listen, here's the good news. It's time to move off LeBron at some point in the next calendar year. And LeBron's never been loyal.
For years, much of the media seemed to operate like a full-time security team for LeBron James. Criticism was blocked, failures were reframed, and mistakes were often redirected towards someone else. But now, that protective shield in Los Angeles appears to be cracking. The walls that once insulated the king are beginning to shake, and the noise coming out of Hollywood no longer sounds like applause. It sounds like frustration. There are whispers of tension surrounding Jeannie Buss, reports suggesting growing impatience within the organization, and even a prominent sports voice reversing course on national radio. The narrative is shifting rapidly, flipping faster than one of LeBron's signature chase-down blocks. The same city that once rolled out the red carpet now seems to be looking at the entire operation with skepticism. Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
LeBron's been great for NBA player empowerment. Is he good for the ratings? Well, Lakers still get a lot of ratings when they play the Warriors every Christmas or near then. But it's easier to move off somebody that's moved off multiple teams. LeBron is a businessman at this point first. And a basketball player, I know, keep the thing. But for his entire career, he's a basketball guy that did business. LeBron now is kind of a business guy who's still pretty good at basketball. But moving off him is not difficult. The agent's talking. Look, they're a worse team defensively when he's on the floor. He's not always available. You can be a credit to the game, and it can be time. But part of me thinks the Lakers sold this because the discomfort of the LeBron exit. LeBron's exit, he's been exiting his entire career. He exited from Cleveland, his hometown, twice. Pat Riley. And remember, when he chose the Lakers, they stunk. He didn't choose the best basketball team. He chose the best economy in the country.
Let's get real for a moment. Did LeBron James truly save the Los Angeles Lakers, or did he mortgage their future for one quick parade, leaving the franchise to juggle aging contracts and depleted draft picks? That's the uncomfortable question few were willing to ask before. Now, in Tinseltown, it feels like the sky is falling, and for once, the media isn't rushing in with ready-made excuses. For years, the narrative was simple. LeBron rescued the Lakers, pulled them out of irrelevance, and revived a legendary brand. But this isn't an expansion team desperate for attention. This is the Los Angeles Lakers, a franchise built on 17 championship banners and decades of dominance, defined by icons like Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kobe Bryant.
Some of the sentiments that Jeannie Buss had towards LeBron James, like her feeling like he wasn't grateful that they drafted Bronny. She didn't like the fact how he tried to avoid blame and take responsibility for the Russell Westbrook debacle. She begrudgingly gave him a second contract. The only reason she gave him a contract extension because she didn't want the PR blowback. She thought his ego was outside.
This franchise was never living under a bridge waiting to be rescued by a hero. It simply needed smart leadership and stability to return to prominence. Now consider Colin Cowherd. If you followed sports media over the past decade, you know he was one of LeBron's most vocal supporters. He consistently argued that LeBron had surpassed Michael Jordan in the GOAT debate, a stance that regularly ignited chaos online. Cowherd defended LeBron's decisions, his team changes, and even his influence over front offices. At times,
This is not Magic or Kobe. LeBron's easier to move off. It's been a mutually beneficial relationship. His net worth has almost doubled since he came to LA. He came to LA for basketball, 60%, and business, 40%. I mean, he kept the thing, by about year two. His net worth is almost doubled. Net worth. He's expensive. He's not always available. He's not the player he once was. Lakers are so bad defensively, and statistically, they're worse when he's on the floor. So I've said it forever. Really, really confident, successful men are bad at exit.
The Lakers have every right to feel frustrated. The roster appears boxed in, the future uncertain, and expectations remain sky high while the results fall short of the hype. When longtime defenders begin to sound skeptical, it signals that something serious is unfolding. It's surprising that it took this long for someone in national media to say it plainly. Colin Cowherd finally dropped the polite tone and addressed the situation directly. LeBron isn't loyal in the traditional sense. He moves when it benefits him, period. This isn't Derek Jeter spending his entire career in one uniform, nor is it Magic Johnson or Kobe Bryant tying their legacy to a single city for life. LeBron's career has always been strategic and calculated. He didn't join the Los Angeles Lakers because he grew up dreaming of Showtime banners. His decisions have consistently been driven by opportunity and positioning rather than long-term attachment to one franchise.
Lakers had really regressed to, I would never say irrelevancy, because we're talking about the purple and gold. We're talking about one of the greatest basketball franchises, one of the top 2 basketball franchises in sports annals. There's no doubt about it. But the other side to it is that LeBron did resurrect the Los Angeles.
He chose Los Angeles because it is the entertainment capital of the world. The business opportunities, production deals, and brand expansion were all waiting for him. That side of the equation has clearly flourished. The uncomfortable truth, however, is that while the business empire is thriving, the basketball side feels far less stable. That tension is impossible to ignore. Colin Cowherd's breakdown wasn't emotional. It was rooted in numbers. He pointed out that the Lakers haven't exactly been elite defensively with LeBron on the floor. He raised concerns about availability and highlighted the financial burden of a max contract at this stage of LeBron's career. Then there's the broader reality of the player empowerment era, which has blurred the line between front office authority and superstar influence. When an agent publicly discussed
From Baxter Holmes, ESPN, detailing some of the strife inside the Laker organization, Jeanie Buss, who I've always liked, some felt a little disrespected by LeBron James. LeBron didn't take, responsibility for the Westbrook move. I talked about that over and over and over. LeBron wanted that move. It was a disaster. Now Westbrook and LeBron don't get along, whatever. But I read the story. I'd heard about half of these rumors, maybe 75% of these rumors. Baxter Holmes has a history of getting stuff right. Jeanie Buss is now saying, this stuff is, it's putting LeBron in a bad space. Listen, here's the good news. It's time to move off LeBron at some point in the next calendar year. And LeBron's never been...
Hello, we're excited to show you our native speech capabilities. Comparing the Lakers' trajectory to younger teams like the Detroit Pistons isn't exactly flattering. For someone who once defended LeBron at every turn, that shift in tone is significant. It signals that the conversation around him is no longer automatic praise. It's becoming more analytical and, at times, more critical. Then there's the other side of the debate. Enter Stephen A. Smith. When reports surfaced that Jeanie Buss might be losing patience, his reaction felt noticeably tense. Rather than leaning into accountability, he pivoted back to the familiar narrative that LeBron saved the franchise, almost as if it were 2020 again. Resurrected is a powerful word. Yes, the Lakers were rebuilding after Kobe Bryant's final seasons. Yes, every franchise goes through transitional years after a legend retires. But that doesn't mean the organization was erased from relevance. They weren't a forgotten expansion team. They were resetting, which is a normal part of the cycle in professional sports. And that's where the real question emerges. Are we evaluating LeBron by the same standards applied to every other all-time great? Or are parts of the media still protecting a long-standing narrative? The tone is shifting, and this time it feels different. The protection isn't as automatic, the praise isn't as unanimous, and the scrutiny is starting to match the expectations.
The Lakers are a mirage. They're 26-16. But 15 of their 16 losses, they've gotten blown out. They're great in clutch games because they have a really smart head coach, but they're not in that many clutch games. They're horrible defensively. It's a 3-and-D league, and they don't have enough of either. no rim protection, not very athletic. This is a Luka, J.J. Redick, and maybe Austin Reeves franchise going forward. So if you look under the hood, they're a mile from San Antonio and Oklahoma City and Minnesota.
Hello, we're excited to show you our native speech capabilities. Look around the league. The Boston Celtics rebuilt. The San Antonio Spurs are rebuilding right now. That's the natural cycle of the NBA. Contenders rise, legends retire, franchises reset, and new cores develop. But when Stephen A. Smith tells it, the Los Angeles Lakers were some forgotten organization desperately waiting for a superhero to land in Hollywood, as if championship banners just vanish overnight. The reality is far less dramatic. In LeBron James' first season in Los Angeles, the Lakers missed the playoffs. No spin, no parade, just the same outcome critics label as irrelevant. That detail often gets glossed over because it complicates the savior narrative. What truly shifted the franchise wasn't simply LeBron's arrival. It was the front office pushing all the chips to the center of the table and trading nearly every major young asset for Anthony Davis. That was the real gamble. To their credit, it worked. Once. They won a championship in the bubble, and that banner counts. But after that came instability. Constant roster turnover, unclear identity, lingering chemistry questions, and more noise than cohesion. The momentum didn't sustain itself. Then there's the defense of Rich Paul and Clutch Sports Group. Stephen A. frames their influence.
The fact is that it's entirely plausible that Jeannie Buss may have felt that LeBron James should have been more appreciative. It is the Lakers after all, and that brand means something. It wasn't like he was playing for the Clippers now. It wasn't like he was playing for the Clippers, okay? Lakers a different brand. We have to understand that. But he still came there, and he delivered. And everybody wants to sit up there and minimize that championship in the bubble. You can't. Lakers had a lot of adversity. Couldn't get right till LeBron James arrived. And it was because his arrival occurred that Anthony Davis's arrival had occurred. And it was because of that the Lakers had a dynamic duo that you could put supplementary parts around and ultimately capture an NBA championship. Yeah, there should have been some gratitude maybe that was shown because the Lakers drafted Bronny James. Sure, you can nitpick about that stuff like that, but LeBron kind of deserved it. His years of service covering the NBA. No doubt about that. So let's be fair to the brother. Be fair, give credit where...
Hello, we're excited to show you our native speech capabilities. Flexing power is one thing, but flexing it into the Russell Westbrook trade is another. Reports suggested Jeannie Buss wasn't fully on board with that move, yet when it unraveled, no one seemed eager to claim responsibility. That's where the situation becomes uncomfortable. The larger issue is accountability. Stephen A. Smith speaks boldly on television about leadership, influence, and power, but when it comes to holding LeBron to the same standard as other all-time greats, the tone often softens. Instead of direct critique, there's cushioning. Instead of hard questions, there's nostalgia. Meanwhile, the Lakers remain stuck in the middle of the standings. The individual milestones continue to pile up, 40,000, even 50,000 career points, remarkable achievements by any measure. But do those numbers fix transition defense? Do they prevent 20-point blowouts? Do they solve long-term roster flexibility? Those are basketball questions, not